really wish his head could look up more. It's a bit frustrating. I mean, it's a Superman figure. Hey, what's up, you guys? Artemis Prime here doing another Hot Toys figure review on the Hot Toys Avengers movie Thor. Oh my goodness, I have to give a big thanks to MarvelousNews.com for setting me up with this figure. They gave me this figure to review. Check them out if you haven't already. They are the #1 website for all Marvel related news, man. I've been going there for a while. The link is in the description. This is not a cheap figure. This is a brand new Hot Toy Thor, man. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. If you're trying to pick one up yourself, which I recommend you do, big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below. And they have them available there right now, so go ahead and check that out. So there's a bunch of accessories I want to get into, so let's get started. First off, here's the packaging right here. You got Chris Hemme over there. You got the Avengers in silver. It says Hot Toys right there, Movie Masters. Turn around to the side. There's the hammer. And then we got a whole bunch of nothing. Mjolnir again. And then just slide this sleeve up right there, and oh, no action figure, of course. And it says Thor at the bottom right here, and Thor up top, but upside down over here, and Thor again right there. So yeah, cool. Got some credits in the very back, and of course the figure's not in there. So Thor comes with 9 different hands. You can see these 2 open palms right here. He has these 2 semi-open hands. And now these 2 hands right here are kind of like holding Mjolnir at an angle, but they're at slightly different angles right there for the right and left. And then there's one like a solid grip for the left hand. And then there's 2 fists right here. Now one thing with Hot Toys, it is kind of hard taking these pegs out of here. It's kind of a pain in the butt. The easiest way for me to unplug these hands and switch them out is actually to bite them, which is actually really weird, putting action figures in your mouth. I tend to bite right here at the bottom where it just meets that round part, and then I just chew it off. Yeah. And in case any of those wrist pegs break, they give you another set right here. You also get the Tesseract that Thor and Loki transported with back to Asgard, which is very cool. A lot of really nice paint applications on here. I really like the bronzish gold that they've applied. The sculpted detail, very accurate. Very nice piece right here. Then the Tesseract itself in there is totally transparent. Got these rings on the inside right here. It's really nice. The only thing is it doesn't work. And they tell you in the directions that it doesn't come apart or anything, so it's just a display piece. And I actually kind of have a hard time getting Thor to hold it, so you can't really use it in the display, which is kind of weak, so it doesn't really fit into the hand right here. If I use this hand, I can get it like 3 of the fingers, you know, kind of locked in there, so you can kind of do that. You can kind of fake it. That'll work. You also get this standard Hot Toys base display stand right here. It says Thor right there. It says Marvel, the Avengers. Looking very cool. And it has this cradle right here to cup his crotch pits so you can have him up in the air and everything. So very nice, and it spreads out the more you move it outward. So you can see how that works. Pretty cool. Thor's #1 accessory right here, Mjolnir. Oh my goodness, wow, very cool. And this thing's pretty hefty too. I believe it's made out of die cast or something. It's an actual metal, so it's got some weight to it. Very reflective, very nice. You can see all the details sculpted in it right here. Very cool. The handle looks great. Got this cloth, you know, this pleather or whatever that they have right here. That's very cool. I like this a lot. Very nice. Now when you're getting it inside of his hand, you want to make sure not to push down through the hole. You kind of have to peel his fingers away, which is kind of tricky. I kind of don't like that because I feel like I'm ruining the figure a little bit, but there you go. It's not, see? It's not so bad. And then just peel the thumb back and it'll stay, so nothing's breaking on this. Really nice detail on here on the hands, by the way. I mean, the detail throughout the whole thing, even got some little veins and stuff. It's consistent like that throughout all the hands, and putting it in this hand right here is actually quite a bit easier. Now plugging the hands into his wrists are not really the funnest thing in the world, but it's kind of hit or miss, and yeah, not so bad. Now when you push these things in, you want to hold them by the arm up here. I have a tendency out of habit to grab by the wrist, but you actually want to grab all the way up here and then push that inward, and then there we go. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hot Toys are so spot on that it is creepy, man. Doesn't that look just like Chris Hemsworth or what? That is so weird. It's freaky. Just an amazing sculpt. The paint detail is just fantastic. I mean, this is what Hot Toys is really all about. Great sculpt, great paint detail. Absolutely love this. This is just really, really cool. And I know I'm not the only one. Charlita1 over here is like a really big fan of Chris Hemsworth. I think she has the hots for him or something. I don't know. It's gotten kind of weird.
So do you come here often?
If I lighten up on my lighting, you can see a little bit more of the detail there. The beard is totally sculpted on there. Now the hair is actually painted over with some glossy gold, so it's a little strange. It reminds me of the Walmart exclusive Amazing Spider-Man figure that has an Andrew Garfield head. Remember how that had that shiny brown? It's kind of strange, but you know, for a Thor figure, I mean, he's a god. It makes sense. Just like the eyes and everything of this guy are so realistic. I kind of wish they went with a different expression for his mouth. It looks kind of weird. Like, I don't know. In person, it's not so bad, but you know, as I'm looking at the camera, it kind of looks like duh. Even though I don't like his dopey looking mouth, compared to my Marvel Legends scale Avengers movie Thor and my Marvel Select Avengers movie Thor, those things don't have anything on this one. So let's do a face comparison. ML, MS, HT, ML, MS, HT, ML, MS, HT, ML, HT. And here's the back of the head right here, so you can see his hair. Really well done. Oh, he dropped his hammer. But wow, it's very, very gold hair, man. Like I said, I can forgive it because, you know, he's a god, but there's some darker brown in there, you know, shaded in with it. It's not like a solid gold. It's just, wow, dude. I understand how Sean Long is such a huge fan of this toy line. It's just so amazing. Unbelievable. And here's a look at his armor, which came out very, very nice. Now, on all 6 of these discs, there's actually Asgardian writing on each of them, which is a trip. It's so small, but you can barely see it. Damn, that is so tiny. I can't believe they were able to squeeze that in there. That is awesome. I really like the mesh that they have over here. Actually, I like it, but I kind of dislike it because in the directions it warns you that it's quite fragile, but it's really, really movie accurate, and it makes him look pretty buff too. So you got to be careful with it. It does hinder the articulation by a reasonable amount, but you can still move the arms around decently, just not a whole lot. The arm guards right here look very, very nice. This is really cool. I like the cloth on the inside over here. The red's very, very vibrant. I like that. The pants are really cool. He's got his nice pleathery pants. Very nice. The boots came out really, really cool. I really like the boots actually a lot. Really nice paint detail and sculpt throughout the whole thing. It is just immaculate. And then getting a look at the cape over here too. They even have all the wrinkles done properly and everything. So you can see these 3 dips right over here. I mean, they really packaged the cape really well on this guy and everything. It kind of looks like Mother's Drapes a little bit, but you know, it's very nice, very well done. I kind of wish he had the bendy wire like how on the Hot Toys Superman. Again, thank you, Sean Long. For, you know, that would have been pretty cool so that you could pose the cape, but still, it's a very nice cape. I think it's very accurate. It looks nice. So the articulation of this guy is a downer compared to some of the other Hot Toys figures that are out there. Like I said, the arms really hinder the articulation. He doesn't have an ab crunch. He can't look up, and that's one thing that kind of bums me out about Hot Toys, honestly, is that they don't really think about people wanting to pose the characters in the poses that they should be in. I don't know, that kind of bums. I wish they had something where like you could remove the hair and put on another hair piece where his head can look upward. The neck joint and the head joint, he can look far up only like that, which is not looking up at all. That's just looking straight ahead. So that's a downer. And speaking of downers, his head can move down very far. So you can have him on that flight stand hovering and looking down, and that will work pretty well. And they tell you that you want to move it up or down before you start rotating it. So his head does move left to right very well. So you can do that, and that's no problem at all. That's very nice. Now his shoulders, you got to make sure that in the directions they explain, you got to have them level like this before you start moving them upward. And you can only move his arm up that far, which kind of sucks. So you can't get him holding the hammer up very high at all. And you can move it up this much, right, like so. So that's not a whole lot of movement. You can kind of, I mean, I could tell that the base body underneath this allows for rotation, but the costume is hindering it greatly. So you can't really rotate the bicep side to side. You can move the elbow at 90 degrees like so, and you can rotate it left and right, so you can do that kind of motion. And his wrist moves side to side, and they move up and down if you don't pop it off, and there you go. Like I said, putting these things on the wrist pegs, not very fun, especially when you have all this clumped up cloth right here. See, there it goes. So I'll deal with that later. The material right here is actually pretty flexible, so it doesn't really hinder the waist articulation too much. So you can get him, you know, twisting left and right, and you could still move the legs up. The legs do move that far forward. You can move them backward just a little bit. They rotate up here. You can bend them at the knee, so the knee bends a little bit more than 90 degrees, which is pretty nice. And it's kind of funny because out of all the articulation that this figure does not have, it does have the best ankle pivot I have ever seen on a Hot Toys figure. That is just funny to me, man. I don't know. I just think it's kind of ironic or a weird coincidence anyway. So his ankles do move downward, and there's this gap right here over the ankles, so you can allow full rotation on his feet. So ankle pivot, downward, upward, and you could just rotate perfectly side to side. So the leg articulation on this guy is actually the best part articulation wise for the figure. So this figure stands somewhere between 12 and 13 inches. I want to say 12 and a half to 13 inches tall. And here he is standing next to the Hot Toys First Avenger, Captain America. So yeah, he's a little bit taller than Cap. I think he should have been standing even taller than he is right now than Captain America, but if I get Captain America in a little bit more of like a, you know, if I spread his legs out and kind of do a little bit Shartimus Prime pose kind of thing like that with Captain America, then, you know, the height difference looks a little bit more movie accurate. But it's kind of a shame because his ankle pivot's like the best part of the articulation of this figure, so I feel like I'm not really using it by just having him standing, you know, vanilla like that. Here he is standing next to the Hot Toys Superman. Wow, so they're just about the same height. Again, thank you, Sean Long for the Captain America and the Superman. Jeez, incredible. And then there's Thor with the Hot Toys Captain America and the Marvel Icons Modern Iron Man. So yeah, I think this Thor figure could have been standing a little bit taller. I wish he was a bit taller. But, you know, honestly, overall, I just think the figure is amazing. Now, out of all the Avengers Hot Toys figures that have been coming out recently, this isn't one that necessarily stuck out to me as much. But damn, now that I'm like really holding it in hand, I mean, I'd seen it before at Sean's place, but like this time I'm really spending some time with it, and it's like, oh my god, every time I look at it, I just geek out. It is incredible. Great figure. I totally recommend getting it. Thank you so much, MarvelousNews.com. Check them out. Seriously, it is the #1 place to go for Marvel news. And I really hope you guys like my review, and I will catch you later. Peace. Give me a few minutes, like, give me 10 minutes.